Hello everyone, welcome to my reading wrap-up for January, and I did get through 6 books, and many of these books were winter themed. At least they were based in the winter time, because we've been having a real Canadian winter this year. Lots of snow, storms, and cold weather, so it's been the perfect time to read some of these stories that take place during the winter time, or very isolated type of books that take place during the winter time. So it was just good time to read those kind of books. So I'll start probably with my least favorite one of the month, and that is A Haunting in the Arctic by C.J. Cook. And I did read a previous novel of hers, I think it's The Lighthouse Witches, which I didn't mind. I did actually enjoy that one, though the ending had a lot of plot holes, like this one. Actually, the first 2/3 of the book I really did enjoy. So it follows 3 different time periods. The main time periods are 1901 and then the present day. And this whaling ship, it starts off in 1901 on this whaling ship, and this woman is kidnapped and taken aboard this whaling ship, and they travel to the North Sea, and there's some pretty horrific things that happen to her, needless to say. So lots of trigger warnings for sexual assault. I would stay away from this book if those are triggers for you. And then in present day, there is this urban explorer. She decides to go to Northern Ireland, where this ship is has been sort of run aground for many decades, and the government is going to pull it out to sea and just sink it at some point, and she just wants to go there and explore and just see the ship one last time before it's sunk. And then there's another time period in 1973 where this whaling ship is found adrift, and it was a research ship, and there's only one person who's they can find on board, and his face and hands and everything have been mutilated. So there is a connection between all these different time periods. So yeah, I didn't mind the first part of it. It was very atmospheric. Usually when I read a book, it's like a movie playing in my head. So I just found it very atmospheric, the cold, the isolation. And then the last third of the book, all the revelations start to come out, and you find out what really is going on during present day, and it was an interesting twist. But yeah, all the different reveals and everything, I'm just like, what? That doesn't make sense. I had so many questions. I sat on it for quite a few days thinking about it, and there's just so many unanswered questions that just did not make any sense. So the first 2/3 of the book I really enjoyed. Like the first 2/3, I give it a 4-star, but the reveal and all the questions it brought up, and it just was kind of nonsensical. I have to give the last part of it like 2 stars. So yeah, kind of mixed feelings about this. I just did not like where the ending went to. It just left too many unanswered questions and plot holes and everything. So I give maybe this book about a 3-star. Yeah, it was looking very promising, and then that last little bit just threw me off. And the next book was Isla Gordon, A Season in the Snow. And this book follows Alice, who has a really great life in London, and she has a good job, great friends, great family, and then her best friend dies tragically, and she kind of is blaming herself in a way, and she grieves for quite a while. And before her friend passed away, they were going to go on a trip to Switzerland, and her friend was going to adopt this Bernese mountain dog, and they're going to take this trip to Switzerland. And then by the time that trip came around, when they were going to go, she decides, you know what, I just need a fresh start. I'm going to go to Switzerland like we were going to. She adopts her friend's puppy dog, the Bernese Mountain Dog, and then she goes and is going to stay for a few months in this friend's house in the Swiss Alps near a ski resort. And yeah, it's actually, I really didn't mind it. It really explores grief and how difficult it is to move on and deal with everything. Every little minor thing just seems to be enhanced when you're going through grief. And then she's decided to adopt this dog, and she has to adjust to that. And when she does get to Switzerland, she does make some new friends, and she gets very attached to her dog. And I actually did like it. There is some romance in there. I'm not a big romance reader, but I really actually didn't mind the romance in this. It was just very heartwarming and a very sweet story. And yeah, I like that. It was maybe about a 3.75, 4-star. And then, this is C.J. Tudor. This is The Gathering. And I read 3 other C.J. Tudor books, and I believe I gave most of those about a 4-star, give or take, but about a 4-star. And I give this one like a 4 point, maybe a little more than a 4, actually, 4.25. 4.5. I really, really enjoyed this one. So it takes place in Dead Heart, Alaska, and this is sort of like an alternative reality. So it takes place in present day, but there's vampires, and there's vampires worldwide. Everyone knows about them. It's no big secret. There's vampires, and there was obviously some issues way in the past with vampires, but over the years they don't kill humans. It's very unusual for them to kill humans. They don't rely on human blood, etc., etc., but they're still demonized, and they're kind of set away in these communities, away from other people, and there's still a lot of prejudices against them. And if a vampire does kill a human, they investigate, and they have to figure out whether to cull the whole clan of vampires or not. It sounds weird, but it works. The way she writes this, it works. So in this Alaska town, in a vampire colony up in the mountains, they've gotten along fairly well. Hasn't been any issues, but maybe I think it was about 15 years ago, this young boy was found murdered, and they blamed the vampires, so they're kind of driven further up into the mountains. And in present day, this other boy is found murdered, and it looks like maybe a vampire had killed this boy. So all the locals are up in arms about this killing, blaming the vampires. And this woman, is she FBI? I can't remember now. No, she's not FBI, but she belongs to this this sort of government agency that sort of looks, kind of supervises and watches out for these vampire colonies, and if there's any issues, they investigate. So this woman is coming up to investigate this to see if it was actually a vampire killing or not, and whether to cull or kill this colony. And she realizes, the further she investigates, that there may be a connection between these two killings, and she is trying to keep the peace. The locals want to kill this vampire colony, and she's saying, no, let me investigate. There's just something going on. It was actually a really, really good story. Again, the atmosphere, I love the way she writes. I think this is probably my favorite C.J. Tudor. I really enjoyed this one. I don't mind vampire stories. Some are really well done, or some are kind of kitschy. This one was very, very well done, and yeah, 4.25, 4.5 star. I really, really enjoyed this one. put that over there. And then this is A Fatal Winter by G.M. Malliot. And this follows an Anglican priest in this small village in England. He used to be with the M15. So correct me if I'm wrong. I guess that's kind of similar to like the CIA in the States or CSIS in Canada. But he got very disillusioned. His friend had died on duty. He became very disillusioned. And he kind of quit that job and decided to become this priest. So the first book, I think it was the in the fall. So each book takes place in a different season. So I picked the second book's The Fatal Winters, which is it's wintertime, and yeah, he solves a murder. Now this one's a little bit different than the first book. This one is sort of like a closed setting kind of murder mystery. So there is this lord and his sister who live in this castle near the village, and both the lord and his sister have passed away within just a few hours of each other. And the one is obviously a murder. The other one, it looks like natural causes. But he sort of works with the police now, so he goes and stays with the family for a few days, just to give them some support, and also to sort of do his own investigation, who killed the lord and his sister. And yeah, the family kind of comes from afar to enjoy Christmas with the family, and then there's this murder. So yeah, I really actually do enjoy this series. It's a bit slow paced. I didn't mind too much. It didn't really bother me too much. It's certainly not a fast-paced book or anything like that. It's definitely a character study. You really got to know the characters in this and what their motives might be. And yeah, 4-star for this one. And I do have, the next one's called A Pagan Spring. And then there's a summertime one, and there's a Halloween one. So I found those books off of Awesome Books. But yeah, I really enjoyed that one. And then the next book is The Blood by E.S. Thompson. And this is the third book in the Jem Flockhart mystery series. And this is just such an underrated series. I just don't know why people don't talk about some of these really, really good books. I'm noticing on BookTube a lot of people are kind of going through the most popular books or the most recent releases, and a lot of these books that are so good are just overlooked. So Jem Flockhart is an apothecary, and she is an only child, and when her mother passed away when she was quite young, she doesn't have any brothers or sisters, and her father was an apothecary, and he wanted her to become one also, because if something happened to him, he wanted her to be looked after and to support herself. So he decided when she was quite young to disguise her as a boy so she can become an apothecary, because it was against the law, of course, for a woman to actually use her brain. So she has been disguising herself. I think she's in her maybe 20s or mid-20s or something now. But all her life she's basically been disguising herself as a boy. And there's maybe one other a close friend of hers, one other person knows that she's a female. And after the second book, she opens her own apothecary store, and she is called to the Blood, which is actually a hospital ship on the harbor. And she goes there because a friend of hers is another apothecary, and he's sort of sent a distressing letter to her to hurry up and come. So there is like a it's basically murder mysteries. This takes place mostly on the harbor front in London, and I mean, the way she writes, it's so good. And she's actually, this E.S. Thompson, she actually has a PhD in the history of medicine. So, you know, it's pretty authentic, and her writing style is great. I just love her characters and the character growth throughout the books, and the atmosphere. Like, you feel like you're in this grungy, dirty, filthy harbor of London back in the where does this take place anyhow? The 1800s, mid 1800s. It's just, there's such good books. There is one, two, three more. There's three more books. And yeah, it's just such a good series. I think I give them all 5 stars. They're just so good. There's just the atmosphere, the characters, the plot, the mystery. It's just very well written books. And then the last one is A Murder of Crows by Sarah Yarwood Lovett. And this is a Nell Ward mystery, and this is the first book in the series. There's 6 books. I did buy the first 3 when I was in Scotland in a store called The Works. There were 3 for £5, which was such a good deal. And I finally found the last 3 on Awesome Books, so I got those. And this is, I don't know, I wouldn't really say it's a cozy mystery, even though it looks kind of cozy, the cover, because it was really quite serious. So Dr. Nell Ward, is an ecologist, and she was working on, she had a job to do like an ecological study at this manor house because they wanted to change it to like a stable kind of thing. And she goes into this tunnel, and she just wants to see the bat population in there, and she hears this strange noise. She never doesn't think anything of it, and later on she finds out that the woman who owns the manor is found dead in the tunnel. So she is the #1 suspect at the time. And it sort of follows 2 points of view. So it follows Dr. Nell Ward, her point of view, and also the police's point of view. So there's a lot of police procedure in here, and there's also a lot of interesting facts about the ecology from the Nell Ward. So yeah, there's I don't think it was a huge surprise at the end. There's a lot of red herrings, because there's a lot of people who wanted this woman dead, so there's a lot of red herrings throughout. Was it a huge surprise? Not particularly, but still, I actually really did like it. So I'm looking forward to reading the rest of these. Yeah, I did like her writing style, and there's a little bit, I mean, the pacing was a bit off. It's pretty slow in places, but yeah, it was a fun read, and I don't know how to rate that for you. Maybe 3.75, 4, somewhere around there. So there's my 6 books. And I'm on my 3rd book. The other 2 I just read at the beginning of February were really depressing. They were pretty good, but they're completely depressing. So I wanted to go for a very humorous book for this next one. And this is by Jasper Fforde, and this is The Big Over Easy. And this is not a kid's book. This is an adult book. It'd be way over their head. And it's just absolutely hilarious. I mean, I'm only on page 36. I don't know how many times I've laughed out loud. So this follows a detective, Jack Spratt, and his partner, Mary. And yeah, Jack's fallen off the wall, and he's dead now, and they're investigating. And they even have a autopsy photo of the what's his name? Humpty Dumpty. Sorry, did I say Jack? Humpty Dumpty died, and yeah, it's just absolutely hilarious. There is a second book in this series. Anyway, so yeah, Jack Sprat, he's maybe not the best detective. Like, he has to do all the crimes, these nursery crimes, and sometimes he solves them, sometimes he doesn't. So he recently took the three pigs to court because they killed Mr. Wolf, and the three pigs did get off, and he's quite upset that they were set free. And he says, we believe, Jack said in exasperation, as he had made the point in the same room to the two uninterested journalists many times before. Boiling Mr. Wolf alive was quite outside the realm of reasonable force, and the fact that the large pan of water would have taken at least 6 hours to reach boiling point strongly indicated premeditation. So it's just like this throughout. It's just hilarious. So yeah, I needed some light, humorous stuff after those last two books I read. So that's it. That's my reading wrap up, and I am going to do a book haul. I'm just waiting for, I should get it Monday or Tuesday from Book Outlet. So I will do a book haul then when I get those other books and that. So anyway, happy reading. It's still quite wintry this month. So I'm going to try to continue on with some wintry themed books. And so yeah, happy reading, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.